Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I truly appreciate you joining me. Well, today I have something really cool and special to share with you. So we are out visiting family in Utah, and so I came across someone really special that I want to introduce you to. So my sister-in-law and I were visiting some friends of hers, and I met this sweet gentleman. And I'd like to introduce you to him. His name is Fred. Hi, Fred.
Hello there. How are you?
Good. Thank you for, wanting to help me with my YouTube channel and doing this.
Oh, I'm happy to do so.
The reason I wanted to introduce you to Fred is because he is an artist. So I got to see some of his art, but then getting to know him, I wanted to know more about his story, and you guys would be amazed at his art studio. It's like, oh, I want this. so this is really fun. I had just met Fred, and of course we just met a couple of days ago. But look what he actually gave me. These are some of the drawings. Some of the drawings.
Illustrations. Yeah.
Okay, so he generously gave me that. And then here is a card, and I think you said you have some of these in a store.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a 5x7?
5x7. Yeah.
Okay. And so he does this, and they are blank inside, so they're available at a store if you are in Springville. And then, just like every crafter that I know and every artist, you always have your information at the back. So I was just really impressed when I met Fred, and he's such a sweet gentleman anyway that I thought all of my YouTube friends would love to meet you. And I thought, let's get to know Fred a little bit. So, first of all, thank you so much for these.
Oh, you're welcome.
Very, very sweet of you. I mean, we had just met and you were just handing me goodies. So, Fred, first of all, how long have you been doing this?
Well, my job is to earn money was an educator. And I spent 40 years as a high school counselor in the state of Washington. And I always doodled and made different craft stuff. And when I retired, I started drawing pictures, pen and ink. And then I got into alcohol pen work.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all alcohol pens that I've done. So I've been at this for about 15 or 16 years.
Wow. 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 This is really fascinating. Now, had you always been interested in art and since when you were a young boy?
I grew up on a dairy farm. My mother wanted me to expand my artwork. My dad said, we've got to milk cows.
Yeah.
You got the picture?
Yeah.
So I ended up milking cows and not spending much time. I always wanted to take an art class in high school, and I couldn't. Too busy. Then when I got to college, I took a couple of art classes, but no drawing. And then I went to work, and I still doodled.
Yeah, yeah.
And finally, after a couple of retirements, I decided to do some artwork. The way this studio came about is I restored that Dodge truck along with my wife. And when we moved here to this part of Utah, I couldn't bring it with me. So a man in the little town we lived in said, if you'll sell it to me, I'll use it as a front for my work, for my drive-in restaurant. And it'll bring people in, and I'll never sell it, he said. For about a year that was true, and then he lost the business. He sold the truck. He wouldn't tell me who he sold it to, and it was gone. And we felt really bad about that. So I wrote a little children's book about the little green truck. And in fact, you can have it, it's on YouTube.
Oh, please tell them how to find that, because that's fascinating.
I don't know, I'm too old for that.
Oh, well, I will find it and put it in the description box below. So I will go search for it.
I think on my e-phone or phone, I've got a way to get at it.
We'll find it and we'll make it available. If I can find it, we'll make it available for you guys. But it goes through the process of when you first had your truck, correct?
Well, and first, I even created the story of the beginning of the truck in Detroit,
Okay. Oh, yes, that's true.
and takes it through the first owner, and I happen to be the second owner, so
Wow.
I know all the story.
So there's the beginning.
And
Really
and there's
nice.
even some math in there.
Oh,
for
let's
kids.
stay away from math.
Okay, let's do that. But I have who's ever reading the book, figure out how much it costs to bring the truck from Detroit to Las Vegas is where it began.
Wow.
And then I met the old miner that owned it, and he said, I'll sell it to you if you'll restore it, and then bring me a picture so I know it got restored.
Wow. Okay.
And I got a chance to do that before he died. So it was fun because he cried, I gave him a hug, and the little green truck was there.
Yeah. And the story was come alive.
We named it, I took it to a car show one time, and there was a man there doing calligraphy. And I said, would you paint my wife's name, she called the truck, on the tailgate? So it's called the Emerald Queen.
Oh.
So somewhere that truck exists in the United States.
Mhm.
So if you ever see a truck, a green truck that has Emerald Queen on the back, it's mine.
It's yours.
It's mine.
It's yours.
I just want to touch it again.
So, I mean, your drawings, your work on vehicles, it's amazing. You probably have many other talents. Wow.
Oh,
You've probably done a lot in your life.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
To say I was raised on the dairy farm, so I learned how to work.
Yeah.
Spent a few years in the Navy.
Oh, well, thank you for your service.
You're welcome. I was a hospital corpsman, so I spent time
Wow.
in the hospitals, and then I spent a year with the Marine Corps.
Wow.
And that's where I got the idea of restoring cars. In fact, I had that in high school. I've owned 30 cars in my life, a lot, and I've restored them all.
Wow.
And so I was natural, I was mechanically inclined, so
Mm-hmm.
I just worked with cars. And
Yeah.
I had 6 children, 2 of which are boys. The others are wonderful. They're called girls.
Now, do any of them like like you're an artist? Is any of them like art and dabble in any of that?
All but one,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And he spends his time restoring old cars, so he's okay.
Okay.
I still love him.
Okay.
Yeah. But the rest of our children, especially the girls, have inherited some art ability. I have inherited mine from my mother. And my dad. My dad was a baker, wonderful bakery owner, and he could decorate cakes that made you just want to look at them.
Wow.
So my artwork, I suppose, came from both, but the encouragement was from my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she paint or did she draw?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
She actually had a drawing that she'd done when she was a young girl with crayon because they were very poor, they couldn't
Right.
afford much. And so hers was a beautiful picture of a barn done with crayon.
Wow. Wow.
And over the years it would fade.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd say, "Oh, I remember when it wasn't faded."
Yeah, yeah,
I said, "Mom, it's so beautiful." So
Sure.
it's okay.
sure. Well, you were showing me a book, kind of like a little catalog of some of your drawings. Can we see those?
Sure, sure. Did I give that to you, or
I
what did I
think
do?
you
with
laid
it?
it that
Oh,
direction.
right here.
I just want to flip through some of that.
Okay.
And
It's, I've named my work Highway 89 instead of Route 66
mm-hmm.
because Highway 89 goes right through our town
Oh,
from Canada to Mexico. And so all of my drawings are cars traveling that road.
clever. Oh, I love that.
And I've drawn quite a number of Model A's. The International Model A Club contacted me, and they have a what's it called? I gave them permission to use my artwork and all of the things that they want to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're making cards with them and
Oh,
using
wow, wow.
it. And there's over, I think it's 7,000 or 8,000 Model A owners in the world. So that's where it goes.
Wow.
So those were some of those. Is that,
I want to see, you have drawn some temples.
uh-huh,
And some of my viewers know that I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I think I might have shown the Albuquerque temple to them. And of course, a lot of people might be familiar with a lot of the temples in Utah. But I would notice some of those temples in your book there.
yes, I've got some from Seattle. And where did I put my temples here? Ah, here they are.
Those are real intricate too, a lot of detail. Just amazing.
Some people, when I've shown my artwork, have accused me of just doing, what's it called?
Like transfers or something?
Yeah. And everything is done with pencil, ink, and then pens, and done as exact as I can.
Right. Wow.
For example, there's the Seattle temple, and this was where my wife and I were married, in the Idaho Falls temple in Idaho. And people in our church, when they get married, we usually give them a picture of the temple for themselves as a gift. So there's the Salt Lake Temple. Most of you might recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
St. George. No, excuse me. That's Logan. Logan Temple.
Beautiful. Wow. Wow.
And this is Halifax, Nova Scotia. I had a grandson go there on a mission, and so I drew a picture for him so he'd always have that.
Yeah. Wow.
This was, my wife and I served a mission as adults in I've lost it,
It'll come back to you.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, okay.
And I was drawing then, it was just sketching. So I used a pen and ink drawing of the temple there, and then I just put one little bit of color in because it had a beautiful turquoise glass in front.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So,
I'd like to see if I can flip through this one image I saw. A lot of my YouTube friends know that my craft room is decorated all in patriotic theme.
Oh,
And the reason I did that is because my dad served in World War II, and I have his flag there. My father-in-law served in the Navy, and we have his flag there. But check this out. Look how cool. I particularly like the eagle with the flag in the back. Isn't that beautiful?
I saw a picture of that one time, and I wanted to have it as well.
Yeah.
I cherish the time I served in the Navy. It was a good time for me to grow up.
So here is his little catalog, not little, here's his catalog of drawings, and so special. And again, he has cards at a store where he sells his cards. So that's pretty cool. So one of the things that I was amazed at is your art studio. Can we take a peek around?
It's really a mess.
You
But
know
that
what?
It's supposed to be.
It is supposed to be. That's exactly right. So, as crafters, we have our spaces, whether it's a small little corner, whether it's a big old craft room, but it's always in a disarray of crafting.
Well, we're doing things.
Yes. Yeah. So, let's take a tiny little break and we'll come right back and check out Fred's art studio. Hi friends, welcome to Fred's studio. I'm going to let him show you around and let him take it over.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my hideaway. I really call it my shop. This is where I do the work that I do. You can see some of my artwork on the wall. What I use for medium, and I can't tell you why I started this way, but I use alcohol pens for all my color. And I've got a pretty good collection of pens, and they work like watercolor or oils, but they're upside down and backwards when you have to use them. So some of the artwork I've done, I might show you. I just finished this for a man who wanted to give it to his dad in memory of his dad. So the work I do is pretty detailed, but that's been my nature to try to fix things back to where they were. I've restored over 30 cars in my lifetime, and I think that has carried on into my artwork. For example, here's a Thunderbird that I've drawn. And the lady I drew it for loved it because it was dark pink and just what she wanted. I've also done unrestored wrecked cars. That's my favorite car, 1936 Ford. Only because that's the year I was born. So I'm very mature. No, immature. I also draw and had begun drawing some wild birds at the request of some friends. Usually someone will call and say, I've got this photograph. Could you make a drawing of it for me? And that's where I start my work. I usually take a photograph and have it blown up as big as I can blow it up, then take it to my light box and lightly sketch it with pencil, and then I go to work over my very ugly desk here overpaint a desk and go to work and finish it. You can see, if you want to turn over here to what you can do with these alcohol pens, the reflections are really great when you do it right, but you have to do it so you never touch this with any, the white is left alone, and you have to figure out how you can get the shading from black to gray to blue to paint a black car. And that car was actually black. My father ran a drive-in restaurant, and I worked at it when I was going through college. And it was called the Frost Stop Drive-In. So I would make that as a ghost picture in the back, and then I would put cars in front. Now you might think I photoshopped this. No, I cut it out with a knife, with a razor blade. So I'm a little bit old school that way. I also draw landscapes. One you might enjoy is an old pioneer house that's close to us where we live. And the people, I'd given them a copy of it. I took a photograph of it, did the drawing, and then gave the people who live there now a drawing. Unknown to me, my doctor's mother lived in that home, and I gave him a copy, and he cried. So I made a doctor cry. That works. I found an old, very old antique frame, and I put a little 50 Ford in it. My wife says, Fred, most of the people that love your cars are dead. How are you going to ever sell them? I said, they're not all dead yet. But I really like that car. The most, well, I have to show you one picture I enjoy very much. This came out of my head. It's called The Field is White. And then this is a picture I took along an old road down in Utah. That's how we take care of our barns here. Some of them. I've enjoyed doing the work I do, and I keep trying to do something different. Did I show you I've now done, yes, I did, of the wild birds I've drawn. Might take the picture, or and I've done robins and pheasants, seagulls, owls, and it's fun to be able to draw something that's alive. I don't know what else to tell you, except that I enjoy very much being an illustrator as opposed to an artist. I just love doing what I do, and if it makes people happy, that's what I do. And I appreciate the chance to visit with you on YouTube. Creating. It's words from an old geezer who's young at heart. Utah. In the olden days.
Oh my goodness, this has been a true treat for me. And I'm sure that my sweet friends in YouTube, and there's friends, that watch my channel from all over Canada. I have some good friends there, all over the United States, Australia. Scotland, the UK, all over. So they're going to think this is a huge treat. And I really appreciate you letting us come into your studio and sharing some stories, sharing your art. It's a true treat, and it's been such a great thing to meet you, Fred.
Well, thank you. This feeling is mutual,
Aw.
very much.
Oh.
I love the fact that you enjoy what you're doing. I'm drawn to people like that a lot. No matter what it is,
Yeah.
mechanic, doctor, I don't care.
As long as people are enjoying and have their heart into it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could tell that you have your heart in no matter what you do, and that's it's a good thing.
I have to tell you a private story. You okay with that? No.
You want to share it with everyone?
2 months ago, I was taken to the hospital very, very sick, and I had to have my gallbladder removed.
Mm.
And the doctor says it was terribly infected, and if you'd waited one more day, you wouldn't have made it. He took it out, but then my kidneys stopped.
Wow.
For 5 days, nothing. So they sent me home. They said, we're going to put you on hospice. You've got 2 weeks to live. And that was the story that my wife and I got. But the doctor said, I want to talk to you, the doctor that done the operation, every day to make sure what's going on in your life. What a great doctor. So anyway, I came home. I had some great experiences with all my family. I told them I wanted to speak at my funeral, so I did.
Did you record something?
Yes, I recorded my funeral story. Anyway, I didn't die. My kidneys popped up and they started working again, and that was 2 months ago. But I called the doctor and I said, I'm not dead. He says, yeah, I've checked the obituaries and you haven't been there. So I said, you know that you worked on the oldest living Mertlich in the world. That's my last name, Mertlich.
Mm.
And he says, and I kept you alive.
What?
And I says, well, maybe you did and maybe you didn't, but you certainly helped. And he said, what was it he said? Oh yeah, he kept calling every day to make sure I was okay. And finally he said, well, the hospice nurse says you're doing extraordinarily well, your heart's good. If your kidneys keep going, you'll be just fine. And I said, well, I've got 3 drawings I was promised somebody that I wanted to get done. And I didn't get them done. One was the temple in St. George. And I was able to finish that and give it to my son who lives there. And the others was a picture of an old barn, that person that wanted it, in the store where I sell my cards. So I got that done. And he says, well, I think there's a few more things you got to do. So have a happy life.
Aww.
So what a great doctor. What a great experience I had to go this like that and come back out of it. And be able to, well, to be as the best that I can be. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I had to go to church and say, I didn't die.
Yeah.
And they all laughed.
Well, you know, what a blessing. And
Well, it was an extraordinary blessing.
yeah. And we're so very fortunate to still have you.
Well, I've got a few things left to do, so I appreciate the chance to let all of your viewers know that Life is alive and well in Springville.
Oh, such a sweet, sweet message. I really do appreciate you letting us come in to your art studio and sharing everything with us.
Absolutely.
You are a delight, and it has been such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And good luck to you
Thank you.
in the electronic world in which you live.
And on that note, I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Till next time, be safe, be happy, be positive, and you guys rock.